Shalom. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashim, Yahushai Bahashim, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors unto my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings to the elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he exists or he is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahushai, which means he is the deliverer. Okay, and we are the Hebrew Israelites. There's 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. The so-called Negroes, African Americans, Black, Colored, Haitian, Jamaicans, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Latins, Hispanics, indigenous people of North, Central, South America, the islands thereof, we make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. The self-proclaimed white man, okay, the Caucasians, all right, they are the Edomites or the Idumeans according to the Holy Bible, okay. And this lesson is pretty much going to be about how the Lacedaemonians or the Spartans are Israelites, and they're also, they're part of the 12 tribes. Okay, they're the people, they were Jakes, man. Okay, and they don't look like how they depict them in the movie 300. Okay, I'm going to show you that they're Israelites. All right, I'm going to play this video. We're going to bring out some precepts and some good information. I pray this be edifying.
Hollywood Spartans. These are historical Spartans. As you can see, the Spartans were black. Do your research. Stop being tricked by his story. You understand me? You will find out that the original Spartans, the original Greeks, descended from Africa. They They were the warriors. Their gods were the African gods, brought to ancient Europe to civilize that which was crossbred with the Neanderthal.
Now with this video, he kind of goes off because he doesn't understand. He clearly doesn't understand the scriptures. All right, and how it ties in with secular history. Okay, well, I'm gonna just let him finish it and I'll break it down.
These aren't AI generated. These are historical artifacts, depictions of the black Spartans. Study.
Scripture says, study to show yourself approved. Now, when you start going off, you start talking about
Hollywood Spartans.
Okay, but we're just gonna go into the scriptures, man. All right, I want to start this in 1 Maccabees 12. All right, and this is the Good News translation, or you can just read the Apocrypha. Right, so this is 1 Maccabees 12, and this is when Jonathan, this is after they killed Judas, and Jonathan had stepped up, okay, to to help lead the Maccabean revolt of the Hasmonean dynasty. Okay, so this is 1 Maccabees chapter 12 and verse 19. The following is a copy of the earlier letter King Arius of Sparta, all right, sent to Onias the high priest. Greetings. All right, so this is the Spartans. They sent a letter to the high priest Onias at that time. Okay, we have found a document about the Spartans. Now, clearly here it says Spartans, but let's go and see what it says in the regular Apocrypha. It's 1 Maccabees 12. Bear with me. Okay, so this 1 Maccabees 12, right? 1611 KJV. I'll go down. First Maccabees 12 and verse 20. Arius, king of the Lacedaemonians. Now see, it says Lacedaemonians. So you might ask yourself, well, who the hell are the Lacedaemonians? Well, the Lacedaemonians are the Spartans. Okay, let's get some history on that. It's from academicoup.com. It says Sparta's civic structure explains that the Spartans called themselves Spartiates, but outsiders usually called them Lacedaemonians. This name reflects the fact that Sparta was not just a city, but what the Greeks called a polis, city-state. Sparta was actually a richly hierarchical society, comprising the citizens who lived in the town of Sparta itself, an intermediate class of subordinate peoples called Perioeci, who lived in surrounding territory, and their servile laborers called Helots. Other subclasses, which include the inferiors, the tremblers, and the Neodamodois, freed Helots. Sparta had what ancient Greek commentators called a mixed constitution, which blended kingship, oligarchy, and democracy. So here it breaks down that the Lacedaemonians, all right, outsiders called them that. They referred to themselves as Spartans. Okay, so back in First Maccabees 12, right, and this is Jonathan making an alliance between the Romans and the Spartans. Okay, so this is First Maccabees 12 and 20. Arius, king of the Lacedaemonians, to Onias, the high priest, greeting. It is found in writing that the Lacedaemonians, the Spartans, and the Jews are brethren, and that they are the stock of Abraham. Okay, cut. Now, who say they are the stock of Abraham? That's what Jake say, right? Let's see. John chapter 8. Let's see what the Jews told Yahushua when he was on the scene. It's John chapter 8 and verse 30. This is spirit. The truth will make you free. Look, the truth is that, we're the greatest people on the planet. And a lot of times you hear these stories about the great warriors of old, such as the Spartans, the Vikings, hell, Kratos. Kratos, when you play that game, God of War, says throughout the Greek area of the series, Kratos is portrayed as a Spartan, so he's a Lacedaemonian. And who's the voice actor for Kratos? It's a so-called black man. Matter of fact, both the actors, if you know anything about the video game and things of that nature, both of the voice actors, the one that plays the new Kratos and the old Kratos, are so-called black men. Okay. It says Kratos is portrayed as a Spartan warrior who becomes known as the ghost of Sparta after being deceived by his former mentor Ares into murdering his family. Okay, so that video game is based off a Spartan, a Lacedaemonian, a Jew, an Israelite. In that video, they just depict them as being black. Okay, this is John chapter 8 and 31. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So it's now being brought out that the so-called black people here in America, the Negroes, the Haitians, Jamaicans, West Indians, Native Americans, we're the Israelites, we're the people of God. The so-called white man, they're the devil. Okay, America's Babylon the Great. The real name is Yahweh. The name of the son is Yahushua. All the other nations gonna be slaves, and this truth is making us free, man. Okay, free from the bondage of this world. The money ain't real money. We're slaves, but we come to accept our captivity because we sinned against Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, so we're just bearing the righteous indignation. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed. Okay, no other nations claim to be Abraham's seed, even though you do have Ishmael come from Abraham and also Esau, but they're not the chosen, right? Because the scripture says, what in Isaac shall thy seed be called? So it doesn't go through Abraham. It does not go through Esau or Ishmael. to be Abraham's seed, you must come through Isaac, and the Jews come through Isaac. Okay, it says, they answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, you made me free? So this is my point I wanted to make, that the Jews told Yahushua that they're Abraham's seed, right? When you read Maccabees, this is what the Lacedaemonians wrote to the Jews. They said, look, we're the seed of Abraham. First Maccabees 12 and 21. It is found in writing that the Lacedaemonians, the Spartans, and the Jews are brethren, and that they are the stock of Abraham. Now, what do it mean, the stock of that same family tree, right? Online etymology dictionary, you go to the word stock, the noun, and goes into what? Tree trunk, stump. Okay, trunk of a living tree. And what's it called? Family tree. So they're saying we from that same tree. All right, so when you read the Romans about the Israelites that were regrafted into that tree, it's talking about the Israelite foreigners who were scattered, man. Okay, so this is the Good News translation. First Maccabees 12 and 20. King Arius of Sparta to Onias the high priest, greetings. We have found a document about the Spartans and the Jews indicating that we are related and that both our nations are descended from Abraham. We're descended from Abraham, but not just Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Since now that we have discovered this, please send us a report about your situation, right? Because the Jews were catching heavy persecution and heavy hell from the surrounding enemies, namely the Greeks and Antiochus, the Epiphanes, the oppression of our nation. A lot of our people became sellouts and Uncle Toms, and they liked the customs of the Grecians best. A lot of our people, died for keeping the laws, But during this time period, a lot of our people became Greeks. Okay, that's what you have to understand. So I'm going to go to, let me see. I'm going to go to the prophecy, right? We're going to break this all down. And Lord willing, it ain't too long of a lesson. This is First Maccabees chapter 12 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian. Okay, and you can look up Philip the Macedonian. These are actual figures, kings in history. Okay, who came out of the land of Shittim, has smitten Darius, king of the Persians. Okay, that goes into the vision of Daniel, which we're going to get. And the Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So it's the first Edomite king to rule. Okay, and it goes into that Revelation 13. It started with the leopard. Okay, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. So it's Alexander the Great. Okay, and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, so much that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. So he became proud. Okay, I'm gonna get this in the GNT too, because a lot of times it's good to get these translations because you can understand it better. First Maccabees 1, this Good News translation. The history begins, now it's the history of the Greeks, okay, the Greek Empire, okay, because when you read the scriptures, it talks about the Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar, the Assyrians, it talks about the Romans. You can read about the Caesars in the New Testament, all right, but you don't really hear about the Greeks, okay, except when it says neither Jew nor Greek. Okay, the history begins when Alexander the Great, son of Philip of Macedonia, marched from Macedonia and attacked Darius, king of Persia and Media. Okay, so who? Alexander enlarged the Greek Empire by defeating Darius and seizing his throne. He fought many battles, captured 45 cities, and put the kings of the region to death. As he advanced to the ends of the earth, he plundered many nations, and when he conquered the world, the known world at that time, he became proud and arrogant. By building up a strong army, he dominated whole nations and their rulers and forced everyone to pay him taxes. When Alexander had been emperor for 12 years, he fell ill and realized that he was about to die. He called together his generals, noblemen, who had been brought up with him since his early childhood. And he divided his empire, giving a part to each of them. After this death, the generals that took control, and each had himself crowned king of his own territory. The descendants of these kings ruled for many generations and brought a great deal of misery on the world. Okay, so that goes into Alexander the Great and his four generals. Okay, after his death, his four generals began to reign. Okay, you have Antiochus, king of the Seleucid Empire, who was king of the north, king of Syria. You have Ptolemy, king of Egypt, king of the southern empire. Okay, you have Cassander, who stood in Greece. Then you have Lysimachus. Okay, and these are historical figures that we can look up. Okay, so from there, let's go to the prophecy in the book of Daniel. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7. Okay, vision of the four beasts. Now these four beasts, all right, it's describing a beast, but the beast is symbolic of the ferociousness of the kingdoms that will rise up. Okay, so I want to jump down to verse 7 because that's the point of the Greek Empire. Okay, so we're going to start at verse 6. This is Daniel 7:6. And after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, okay, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given into it. This is dealing with the Greek Empire. Okay, my ledger here of my Bible, I'm going to read it to you. Okay, I didn't take a picture, so I can't go to it. I'm just going to read to you what it says. It says the leopard represents the Greek Empire. Its 4 wings refer to the great speed of Alexander's conquest. He reigned 12 years, but he captured the whole known world at his time. Okay, and its 4 heads represent the 4 principal sections of the empire: Greece and Macedonia, who Cassander ruled over; Thracian Asia Minor, who Lysimachus ruled over; Syria and Babylon, the Seleucid dynasty, whom Antiochus ruled over, king of the north; Egypt and Israel, who Ptolemy ruled over, king of the south. Okay, all of this you can look up. Matter of fact, let's look up who was Alexander the Great's 4 generals. Antigonus, Cassander, Ptolemy, and Seleucus. And I believe Antigonus is interchangeable with Lysimachus, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I believe Antigonus and Lysimachus have been going over for Asia Minor. Okay, and these 4 generals had wars, and it is called Diadochi, the successors of Alexander, the War of the Successors. Okay, so now from Daniel 7, we're going to go to Daniel 8. This is Daniel chapter 8. We're going to go to verse 5. Okay, we're dealing with the Greek Empire here, the he-goat. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west, and on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. So I also got my Bible in front of me. I'm going to read the ledger. Okay, it says, Daniel also saw a male goat representing the Greek Empire. The goat's notable horn represents Alexander the Great because the horn represents power or a king. Okay, the goat moves so rapidly that it does not touch the ground. This refers to the speedy conquest of the entire Near East in only 3 years, right? Because this man ruled 12 years, and that's why he got so prideful, because he pretty much took it over with ease, seemed like. And he went up against the Medo-Persian Empire, which had 120 provinces, okay, which is the equivalent of 120 states today. America only has 50 states. Okay, so that was a vast province with many armies and mercenaries, and it was thought suicide to challenge Darius and the Medes. Okay, and he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. Okay, verse 7. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram and brake his two horns, Medo-Persian, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Now here in the ledger it says, the Greek Empire defeated Medo-Persia in 331 BC. Okay, verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. In the height of his empire he died. And for it came up four notable ones, his four generals, toward the four winds of the heaven, the four kingdoms. Okay, verse 8 in my ledger. At the height of the goat's power, the goat was broken. This refers to Alexander the Great's sudden death at the peak of his greatness, 323 BC. Okay, the kingdom was divided by four of his generals. Cassander took over Macedon of Greece, and Lysimachus took over Thrace and Asia Minor. Okay, Seleucus took over Syria and Babylon. Ptolemy took over Egypt. Okay, so during this time, as time went on, okay, we're gonna go back to it because we got to get this history because it talks about what happened to our people, man, during this time. Okay, this is what the churches don't talk about this, man. First Maccabees 1:9, and this is the 1611. And after his death, they all put crown upon themselves as four generals. So did their sons. Many years and evils were multiplied in the earth, because Esau is the border of wickedness. 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Okay, and it was from this line of the Seleucid dynasty, of the king of the north, who came and put hell on the Israelites, made war against us, man. 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant or a contract with the heathen, the Greeks, the Edomites. Okay, because Alexander the Great wasn't Edomites. Four generals, Edomites. Okay, it started with Edomites. Now, when you go into the history, they were not the first Greeks. The first Greeks were Japhet, who were people of color, and also the Romans. Okay, but Esau got up in there, he got into power, and he put on as the Greeks, and he put on as the Romans to hide from the fact of him being Esau or an Edomite, just like today he hides behind being a white man. Okay, so this device pleased them well, right? They liked the customs of the Greek best. Then certain of the people were so forward therein that they went to the king, who gave them license, permission to do after the ordinance of the heathen. And there's an illusion of this license here in America. That's why people get tattoos, or they do all type of drugs, or they're in all type of sexual immorality. They sell their soul, okay, because it's common here, okay, and it's perceived as the way of enlightenment. It's where it started with Esau rulership, that Greek culture, okay, whereupon they built a place of exercise, all right, called a gym, which goes into gymnos, which means naked, at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen. And what they would do, they would actually work out in the nude. They would compete in sports, wrestling, boxing, racing. They would do all this in the nude, okay? And our people, they wanted to fit in with the heathen so bad, 15, and they made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. So, in part of our law, the males were circumcised on the 8th day. Okay, but they were performing something called epispasm. which is pretty much circumcision in reverse. It says Journal for Interdisciplinary Biblical Study. Okay. Says, I'm just jumping now, I'm just skimming through it. It says, it is a sly euphemism for a foreskin. In this piece, I argue that reading 2 Maccabees 4 and 12 as a reference to the preface of epispasm of reverse circumcision works well in ideological texts. Okay, so I'm going to just go to the Wikipedia, it gets to the point. Epispasm, a word derived from ancient Greek that means circumcision reversal or foreskin restoration. Epispasm was popular in the first century among circumcised Israelites because they wouldn't call Ish. That was not what they were called back then. All right? They were called the Jews. All right? Men who wished to appear as intact Greek, right, to compete in the Greek sports and to go to Greek bathhouses and the Senate and just dwell among the Greeks. Okay? The practice of epispasm seems to have persisted in the 2nd century BC to the 6th century AD. Foreskin restoration is mentioned in the apocryphal text 1 Maccabees 14 through 15. Okay, so you see that our people, they were completely going off. Okay, in essence, they literally became Greeks. Okay, 16. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of the two realms. Daniel 11, king of the north versus king of the south. Okay? Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude of chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof. So he pretty much hit a lick, all right, on the temple. And the table of the shewbread, because this is where these things were found, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found, and when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoken very proudly. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were. Okay, so I'm going to jump down. And verse 37 says, they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled, they got scattered. Okay? Because of them whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. So our people got scattered. Where do you think they go? They went to Egypt. Some of them went to Asia Minor. Some of them went to Greece. Some of them went to Rome. Okay? Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feast, because you might say, well, how the hell did Jews get in Sparta? Well, they got scattered according to the curse. We'll be scattered, man. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. And the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, shall scatter thee from among all people, from the one end of the earth, even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Now check this out. This is Acts 14 and 12, and now just dealing with the Greeks, right? The Israelites. Acts 14. And it came to pass in Iconium that they went both together into the synagogue of the Jews, and so spake that a great multitude of the Jews and also of the Greeks believed. Now, who are these Greeks? These were Israelites that were scattered amongst that land. Okay, but they were there for. Now, remember, this is New Testament. This is during the Roman Empire. So this is hundreds of years later, generations later. So they were these men were raised up without being circumcised, believing they were Greeks, carrying the customs, speaking Greek. Okay, but the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles, the Israelites that were got scattered and were raised as Greeks and made their minds evil against their brethren. Okay. So I'm going to jump down to verse 12. It's the point. And they called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercury's because he was the chief speaker. So these are the gods of the Greeks, and they later became the gods of the Romans, because all these gods just get recycled by whatever kingdom takes over, because there's demons on these ancient gods. Okay, and it all goes back to Mystery Babylon or Nimrod, or in Norse mythology it's called Odin and Freya and Thor, Egypt, Osiris, Sirius, and Semiramis. It's the same recycling of these ancient gods. Okay. So how people got scattered. They were heavy into that Greek culture, and so much that they forgot who they were. All right. A lot of our people did this willingly, and a lot of our people were forced to this with the sword. Okay. Back in First Maccabees 1 and 39, her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned in the morning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor and contempt. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all people should be one. That's the NWO. Now it's going to come upon in this generation that all people should take the MOTB. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agree. To this shit. Okay? But not the Jews, because we have our own law, statutes, commandments that were given to us by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And thus we use those law, statutes, and commandments to govern ourselves. Okay? These Greeks, they were nasty. They were heavy into pedophilia, homosexuality, just Esau, the border of wickedness, the adultery. They were into all manner of wickedness. And Jake began to get into this shit too. Okay? Yes, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols, right? Zeus and all that, and profaned the temple, the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. So they were eating all manner of unclean foods. They were worshiping false gods. They stopped keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They even went to, let's see, Second Maccabees chapter 6. It says, not long after this, the king sent an old man to Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High. Okay, and that's what Esau wants. He wants to separate us from our power, because he knows that we can't live like the other nations. We can't eat how they eat. We can't do what they do. Okay, because we're separated. We're a holy people unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. When I say us, I mean the 12 tribes. Okay, 2, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius. Look at that. Okay, and that Ngarism of Jupiter, and the spiritual thing about that game, God of War, is that, he goes around tearing down idols. Okay, So, everything is spiritual. If you ever play that game, he goes around destroying Zeus and all these different Greek gods. And the new game, he destroys all the Viking gods. You see? And he's known as the God of War. Who's known as the God of War? The Most High, the man of war. Okay? 2 Maccabees 6, verse 2, and pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was so sore grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots. So that you can imagine what they were doing. Watch that show Spartacus, man. Esau parties, there's parties today, and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar was also filled with profane things which the law forbidded. They put swine on our temple. 6, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So our people lost their way. They lost who they were. Okay? Because the Greeks made war against us from the wicked root Antiochus. Okay? So let's go to Galatians 3. It's Galatians chapter 3, and I'm going to jump down to 25. It says, but after that, faith is come. We are no longer under a schoolmaster, which is the law. We're now under faith. We are now under grace. For ye are all the children of Yahweh by faith in Hamashiach Yahushua, who all the Israelites, no matter where they are scattered. That's why in Acts 2 it says, devout men, Jews from every nation. Okay, 27. For as many of you as have been baptized into Hamashiach and put on Hamashiach, there is neither Jew nor Greek. Okay, which the Greek is dealing with the Israelites. All right. That's why the word here is Helen.
Strong's G 1672, Helene. Helene.
It kind of goes off here, but I'll make another point, then we'll go back to that. So it's going back to the king that's spoken about in 1 Maccabees 12, right? It says Arius was Agiad, king of Sparta, from 309 to 265 BC. His reign is noted for his attempts to transform Sparta into an Hellenistic kingdom and to recover its preeminence in Greece, notably against the kings Antigonus, which came from the Seleucid dynasty, king of Assyria, Babylon. I'm sorry, Syria, Asia. Let's see. Yeah, Thracian, Asia Minor. Okay, because they were up there. Just going back to Thracian, Spartacus you watch the show Spartacus, he was a Thracian. He was an Israelite. Okay. Agiad, king of Sparta from 309 to 265 BC. His reign is noted for his attempts to transform Sparta into an Hellenistic kingdom. Okay, so let's look up what Hellenist is, man. Because this is the Greeks is talking about in the New Testament. Says a Hellenist, one who imitates the manners and customs or the worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue used in the New Testament of Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. So that's what it's talking about in this scripture. So blue letter does go off sometime, like the apostles say. This is talking about the Hellenists. It should say there's neither Jew nor Grecian or Hellenist. Okay? There's neither bond nor free, so that's what the Spartans were doing. But then it got revealed that, oh shit, we're part of this people too. We're Jews too. They had forgot. That's why the Lord said, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. People were lost, man. Okay? Jacob is a lost sheep to this day. There is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. 29. It's a cut. And if ye be Hamashiach Yahushua, the anointed, then are ye Abraham's seed. All right, what did my man tell him? He said, we're from the stock of Abraham. Okay. First Maccabees 12 and no. This one. Let's go back to 12. Good News Translation. First Maccabees 12 and 20. King Ares of Sparta sent to Onias the high priest, greetings. We have found a document about the Spartans and the Jews indicating that we are related and that both our nations are descended from Abraham. Okay. Galatians 3. And if ye be Hamashiachs, this New Testament now. Okay, back then, that was Old Testament. This is when Yahushua came. But that proves that they were Israelites, because only Jake say they're the seed of Abraham. Now Esau claims to be us. But if Esau was to say he's the seed of Abraham, he's not wrong, because he comes from Isaac. But Esau is not the chosen. All right, Jacob is. Okay. The second Esdras 2 and verse 16, and unto him, that is dealing with Abraham. Okay, I'm going to start at 13. Second Esdras 2 and 13. Now when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them. This is post-flood. All right, from Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Abraham came from Shem, whose name was Abraham. Him thou lovest, unto him only thou shewest thy will, and madest an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed. So that's the cut to the hell doctrine. Because if you just burn in hell forever, you're forsaken. Okay? 16, and unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau, meaning Esau was, not chosen. Okay, and so Jacob became a great multitude of 12 tribes. Okay, so yeah. Galatians 3:29, if ye be Hamashiachs, Yahushai, then are ye Abraham's seed. So it's from Isaac, man. Jacob and Isaac shall thy seed be called, and heirs to the promise of what? The heirs of the promise are the Israelites. Goes in the parable of Lazarus and the rich man. The rich man represents Esau, but Lazarus goes into the Hebrew name Eliezer, which means one who the Most High helps. Isaiah 14 says, yet I will have mercy on Jacob, and I will yet choose Israel. Okay? So let's look at some history on the Spartans. This is from ArmstrongInstitute.org. Says the Spartans, children of Abraham, brothers of the Jews. Right? They're famous as a savage, militaristic society built entirely around their armed forces. Spartan men existed to make war as they're Israelites, man. All right? When you look at the tribes under David, they were all men of war. The Gadites, the half-tribe of Manasseh, and, I believe it was Gad, warriors. Even the priests, the Hasmonean dynasty, were the Levites. They were priests, but they rose up to fight off the Greek invasion or the Greek persecution. Warriors, Judite warriors. All the men of the tribe of our nation are warriors, man. Okay? The scripture says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. And Spartan slaves existed to do essentially everything else. They're probably best known for their lopsided stand against the Persian army at the Battle of Thermopylae in the Hot Gate, reimagined in the famously inaccurate film 300. Why is inaccurate? Because they didn't look like that, man. And they were the movie. They don't show you how they were the stock of Abraham. Okay, and according to an early 3rd century BCE, a letter from Spartan King Ares first to the Israelite ruler Onias. They were also descendants of Abraham and brothers of the Jews. The remarkable letter from the Lacedaemonian king, the official name of the Spartan territory, as presented by the first century CE historian Josephus in his book of Antiquities of the Jews, as well in First Maccabees 12. So I got that. I got the Antiquities of the Jews, man. All right, so this is Antiquities of the Jews right here. This is from Antiquities of the Jews, Flavius Josephus, page 509 and 508. It pretty much reiterates what we have read in First Maccabees 12. It says, Jonathan, having thus gotten a glorious victory and slain 2,000 of the enemy, returned to Jerusalem. So when he saw that all his affairs prospered according to his mind by the providence of the Most High, he sent ambassadors to the Romans, being desirous of renewing that friendship which their nation had with them formerly. He enjoined the same ambassadors as they came back that they should go to the Spartans and put them in mind of their friendship and kindred. So when ambassadors came to Rome, they went. So this is the Israelites that were scattered. I believe the Romans at this time were Japhites, but then Esau became the Romans too. Okay. Went into their senate and said that they were commanded by Jonathan the high priest to say how he had sent them to confirm their friendship. The senate then confirmed what had been formerly decreed concerning their friendship with the Jews, and gave them letters to carry to all the king of Asia and Europe, and to the governors of the cities, that they might safely conduct them to their own country. According as they returned, they came to Sparta and delivered the epistle which they had received of Jonathan to them, a copy of which there here follows. Jonathan, the high priest of the Israelites nation and senate, and the body of people, the Jews, to the Apori senate. Okay. And the people of the Lacedaemonians send greeting. If you be well in both your public and private affairs be agreeable to your mind, it is according to our wishes. We are well also. Okay, so this is historically proven, because Josephus was a so-called Jew historian, man. So there it goes, it's in secular history. Okay, so that's another cut. So I'm gonna read this. It says, Ares, king of the Lacedaemonians, to Onias send a greeting. We have met with a certain writing whereby we have discovered that both the Jews and the Lacedaemonians are one stock of the one seed, and are derived from the kindred of Abraham. It is but just therefore that you, who are our brethren, should send to us any of your concerns as you please. We will also do the same thing, and esteem your concerns as our own, and will look upon our concerns as in common with yours. Demotilis, who bring you this letter, will bring your answer back to us. This letter is 4 square, and the seal is an eagle with a dragon's claws. Okay, so we're going to jump down. And they're just giving the theory of what tribe they could have been from. Okay, so here it says, the Spartans were not native to Greece. The historian Herodotus wrote the Spartans arrived in Greece from Egypt. Okay, when you do the history, our people got scattered in Egypt too. Okay, the Spartans are also noted for celebrating new moons. Right, Psalms, to blow you up the trumpet in the new moon. That's an Israelite custom, an Israelite practice. And the 7th day of the month, which is the Sabbath day. Okay, so they were keeping some of the laws, but they were started to go off too. But yeah, just I think I'm gonna end it there. I really want this lesson to be too long, but there's a lot of good historical information that proves that we're the scattered, who our people were, you know. So I pray this has been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom to the elect.